The advent of rising sea levels, increased temperatures, means that our natural ecosystems are being challenged. And our existing infrastructure for managing this has really been pushed to its ultimate capacity here. Energy dependency is really the elephant in the room. We have to figure out a way to manage and produce energy not just from our traditional sources, but figure out how solar, wind plays a part in how we manage energy going forward.
So climate change and sustainability are really important concepts for pretty much anybody in the world these days. Forest fires and floods and different things are happening around the world to show us the kind of reaction that climate has to greenhouse gases. And so in the Caribbean and the Cayman Islands, we want to build awareness. We want to teach students about the importance of climate change. We have STEM camps that talk about that. We have courses. We've become a member of the Principles for Responsible Management Education, a United Nations global group. So we're really trying to put a focus on the entire issue. I think it's very important, and we'd rather be on the leading edge with respect to these issues as opposed to a follower. We are fortunate at UCCI. We have funding assistance with a RESEMBID partner, which is part of the European Union. The total is about 1.8 million US dollars.
The RESEMBID program has been actively supporting the Cayman Islands in tackling climate change and enhancing sustainability across the areas of resilience, sustainable energy, and marine biodiversity. The University College of the Cayman Islands has received significant funding for the implementation of 2 key sustainable energy projects. This has enabled UCCI to take major steps towards reducing its carbon footprint and aligning with the Cayman Islands National Energy Policy goal of 80% renewable energy by 2037.
When we first got this opportunity to do these grants, there was a certain level of resistance around it because at the time it was felt that we didn't really have sufficient capacity to pull it off. What we have demonstrated is, as a university, we are able to coalesce and build a team to achieve this type of work on a high level.
So we're actually doing some physical improvements to the campus to reduce energy. For example, the main hall, the gymnasium, recently has had a lot of insulation placed in it because it wasn't really conducive to keeping cool air in to that building. In addition, there's now solar panels on that roof, so it can be more self-centered in terms of its energy usage. We have systems now to track energy uses, so we can see if we can improve in certain areas. Windows are being redone, so there's no leakage there as well. So with the RESEMBID grant, we've done a number of physical things to the infrastructure of the campus, which will help us quite a bit. The campus master plan also would look at a variety of interrelationships between the buildings, what buildings we currently have that need to be renovated, what buildings we will need in the next 15 to 20 years, and it provides us with that set of guideposts that are really critical as we look forward.
Master plan is a high-level vision for the campus. It was closely coordinated with the sustainability plan and includes many recommendations from the sustainability plan on energy efficiency. We made sure to weave efficiency into the narrative describing each building. The plan also includes renderings of what future buildings could look like. Because a picture is worth 1,000 words, these renderings include energy efficient strategies like shading, solar, and green roofs, which will inspire architects to design efficient buildings.
An actual sustainability center would be really helpful. We would have resources there to support research. We would have resources there to support teaching of younger children in particular, let alone university-age students. We would work with other university partners to conduct research on climate change. And, as a specific example, solar power has been talked about in the Caribbean for many years. Not much has happened with respect to solar power, but the necessity for that and the ability to do it in the Cayman Islands is just, it's there. It just needs to be done. And so a sustainability center, I think, would put the parameters around how to do it, why it's important, and build that level of support and trust in those types of green initiatives. So, the center itself is actually a focal point for those efforts.
You know, the launch of the Center of Sustainability and how it's going to be managed in the future has been something that we have given a great deal of thought. From the very beginning of this project, we were very focused on ensuring that when this grant ends, that we have a way for continuing this work at UCCI.
If we can set up our own sort of microgrid here, possibly in consultation or cooperation with the high school and the National Stadium beside us, there's an opportunity for a microgrid that would be value for two reasons. One, we could get students involved in developing it, building it in terms of the solar infrastructure. But secondly, just showing how important a reduction in energy use would be for everyone. I mean, everyone's seen increases in power bills, whether it be in the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, the United States, anywhere. And that's only going to continue.
What's a microgrid? Imagine solar on the rooftops of the John Gray High School, UCCI, and the athletic complex. All three of these systems would be wired together to a battery, which would then supply power to all three of the campuses together. That way, when the power goes out because of a storm or other event, the university will remain operational and provide shelter during the recovery. Now imagine that all over the island. That way, when the power goes out, nobody's out of power, like you're never out of power.
So education can help to frame that. The other way that education can really help is to really look at getting the message out to younger people. Most of the climate impacts we're seeing today are only the start of a very bad curve, frankly, and it'll just get worse. And so the younger people of tomorrow, essentially, will be facing a lot of the crises that we have put in place. And so if we can get out information on how to remediate climate change in particular, it's beneficial to the next generation. So teaching to students at the university, to the colleges and high schools and elementary schools around us, that's a great way to do that. And we do some of that already through the STEM camp, for example. We're, I think, pretty active in terms of getting that information out, but we have to continue to do that.
Climate change is a big existential problem, and it can be overwhelming. We find it best for people to start small with things they're in control of. Simple behavior changes like composting at home or planting a garden are easy to do, but can have big impacts beyond your house. When your neighbor sees how easy it is to do, they are likely to start composting too, which then spreads to their neighbor. It starts off a chain reaction that quickly can spread to the whole community. The most important thing is starting small and sticking with something.
This does. It allows government partners, community leaders, businesses to now really begin to take a second look at UCCI and a second look at our leadership and understand that we are primed and ready for partnership, and primed and ready to take on challenges like this and even greater. Because the Caymanian society needs it, UCCI community needs it, the region needs it, and ultimately we want to play a part in ensuring that we are more responsible as stewards internationally.